the nature of good and evil, of love and hate. How did we decide what was good and what was evil? What is it that determines whether we love or hate? Surely there is more than a serpent and a tree with apples. Perhaps evil first appeared when they passed from the gate, when one brother slaughtered another, then evil was begun. Envy, because God is supposed to have favoured a sacrifice. Jealousy, because one thought this a competition to be won. The first example of a man who could not stop to think twice. For if God is loving, why favour one over another? How long did humanity really take to make their first laws? Almost 4,000 years ago, and laws made by the score. Hammurabi's code written down, but were there any flaws? Offences and punishments listed a code like a claw, waiting for any claims that a misdemeanour had taken place, a presumption of innocence and a requirement for proof, evidence collected, and the interrogation face to face. Humanity giving itself a burden, deciding what is the truth. Guilt never presumed, but then might involve the loss of a limb. I guess that mercy and love vanish to make place for the grim. But if God is loving, would he really call to mutilate? From a code made by man to determine what was evil, what could be next? The sacrifice of children that forced Abraham and Sarah to flee? Such practices might be seen as primitive, a call for a better text. Sacrifices still made, we call them collateral damage now, you see. An eye for an eye sounds so loving, and a tooth for a tooth. I find the whole thing strange, for when tablets were retrieved from a mountain top, that they were not seen as a truth, a code that was really honoured, and so few really believed. Wars, feuds, deaths, annihilation, and more carried out in his name. But if God is loving, does he really approve of such carnage? Churches arose in the West, all claiming they knew best. If you did not agree, persecution was the name of their game. A little bit of inquisition, a stretching on the rack as a test. Burning at the stake, the punishment, if a witch you were proclaimed. Was this idea of Christianity meant to be one war after another? Protestant against Catholic, each claiming only they could be correct? Charges of heresy flying around if we disagreed with each other? I wondered if they prayed to God, just to whom did they connect? I'm not sure whether God takes messages on an answering machine, but if he did get back, I'm sure he would say there's been a disconnect. Wars we have had, and carnage by archbishops was blessed. Christians set against Muslims over so many years, Muslims and Jews against each other, each claiming what was best. How shameful that religious leaders should stoke up fears. Sometimes we have to wonder how they all claim to share the same God, as the bombs are unloaded and the media spits out the hate. The only message that comes is a dislike of peas in the same pod. The message that I have is that we think twice about our fate. For the God that I seek is one whose message is goodness and love, whilst the evil and hate are from humanity and not from above.